Hey guys, what's up? Today is Friday, November 14th, and I'm out here outside in my front yard again because guess what? It's finally time to put that lawnmower away. If you look over here, you can actually see that my yard is looking really good. Hank has done a great job ever since the springtime setup, and if you look all along the yard here, you can see the beautiful pattern that it's left. But now that we've officially dropped down to freezing temperatures more than 2 or 3 days in a row, it's time to actually do our winter maintenance and get Hank put away for the year. That way we can be sure that it works well next year. So without further ado, we're going to dig into the process of winterizing your robot lawnmower. Testing out these camera views here just to make sure that everything is going exactly as we want it to. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just slide this guy into my pocket here for the time being. And what we're gonna do is start by looking at Hank. So Hank looks great. He's a little dirty, but you kind of come to expect that after a year of being all over the place, doing all manner of things to my yard. He's been cleaning up around the maple tree really well. He's gotten stuck just a couple times around the bald cypress over there, but it's because there's not a lot of dirt there, or there's a bunch of dirt there. So what I'm going to start out by doing here is pulling out my flexible hose, and we're going to get Hank cleaned up before we take him inside, because not a whole lot worse than your wife complaining about the dirt that you drag into the house, because it's not fair to her to have to clean up after what's going on out here, right? So that being said, fire up the hose, and this is totally okay to do. I do it all the time, and I haven't had any issues with Hank whatsoever. It looks like I might need a new hose though, because we're leaking there, and yeah, we don't want to be doing that. So anyway, take your hose to shower off your robot. You know, don't use high pressure if you can help it. Hank doesn't have a lot of dirt that's just sitting on him. Looks like this dirt might just come off if you wipe gently. So I'm gonna go to the rinse function, a little higher pressure. Even that doesn't seem to do much. Gee whiz. Okay. So Hank has sat outside this year through rain and wind and some snowflakes a couple weeks ago, but we haven't really had a whole lot of action since then. So what I'm going to do is run inside, grab a cloth so we can wipe them off and get all this nasty dirt off the outside. All right guys, we're back here in front of Hank. We got our cloth. It's a microfiber cloth. Don't have to use a microfiber. It's just what I prefer because it's what I had handy, and I use it for car washes anyway. But I'm gonna get Hank all cleaned up here, all this dirt off, and then that way I can just rinse it off. Once anything that's loose still off, and we'll be good to go. And now a lot of you guys are probably like, well, what do you leave outside with Hank in the winter? Or what parts of Hank do you leave outside in the winter? And those are questions I'm going to be answering today, because there's a lot to it. And it's important to know exactly what's okay and what's not okay to leave outside over the winter. We're gonna do one more spritz on Hank. Get all the residual dirt that didn't wipe off. And I'll probably do one more good wipe down once we get it inside. So Hank is gonna spend the winter in my basement, probably in or near my office. And that will give me a chance to pull out Hank's GPS trackers, put new batteries in them, charge them up, etc. But we're gonna go ahead and set this here for now, because the next step is actually pulling Hank out and taking him inside. So Hank is pretty heavy.
The robot tilted.
Yep, he knows he's tilted. But the first thing I do every year, I did this last year with Boris before he got stolen, is you take his key and you want to pull it out. Key is located at the back of your robot, right here. And it can be a little tricky if you got big fingers to get that out. But the key is basically what allows Hank to operate at all. So I take the key and I'm gonna put that in a really safe place. So now, without his key, Hank won't function. You can see he's still turned on. So we'll just go ahead and press this power button to turn him off. We'll press and hold it actually.
Power off.
And then Hank will turn off and he won't turn back on. Not until next year. And the other thing I like to do when I have the opportunity, spray off the back, spray off the wheels. Just gotta clean him up. Now, there were some official recommendations to not like flip your robot over and spray it with water and blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna flip it over and spray it with water. I feel like that's a little silly. But I think we're pretty much done spraying down Hank himself for the season. So what we're gonna do now is just take this, we're gonna clean out this base station, get all the leftover grass that Hank brought back with him off of his platform. And I put Hank on this paver originally because I wanted him to be able to drain well, and everything that drains that direction. So anyway, that's sufficient as far as cleaning goes. The next thing that you're going to want to take apart and bring inside is your GPS antenna, because your GPS antenna here tends to I don't really have a good way to say this, but it doesn't do well over the winter. Okay, so you want to take that down, start by unscrewing right here. Now this is if you have the ManMotion Luba. Mine is a Luba 2 3000X, I believe. Well, I take that and you'll just separate it down here where it links together. Now this one screws in, so we just unscrew it and shove that piece back in there. Okay, it's not going to hurt anything because that flap's going to go down over the winter, and we're going to pull power from the base station as well, because the base station does not need to be powered when there's nothing running to it. So then again, if you've taken your antenna out already, all you have to do is pull up gently. It might be a little stuck because it's been there for the season, but then you just take your antenna, you pull it out. I'm going to route it up through its channel here in the pole, pull it through, hopefully. Of course I get stuck. Well, there's no way to pull it directly from here, so we do have to get it out of here somehow. So I'm just going to push it back down. And we know that this should come off because it has once already. I'm going to pull the Velcro off of here because I think that might be what's causing the hang up here. And we'll go ahead and pull again. Yeah, that was it. 'Twas the Velcro. So then we'll put the Velcro back on, because obviously it's something we're gonna want for wrapping up the antenna. And then the reason that we bring our robot in over the winter is because if you leave your robot outside during the winter and you're in a climate like I am, which I'm in Iowa, so Iowa has, it depends on the year. We have some mild winters, and then there's winters where we dip down below, you know, I don't know, 10 degrees, 0 degrees. When I say mild winters, I guess I want to say a mild winter would be like maybe 10 days that are below freezing, or not below freezing, but below 0 degrees. We consistently stay below freezing here. We are a snowy place in the winter. So, and that's just not the kind of elements that you want your robot exposed to in the winter. So take your, if you want to be nice and neat like me, you take your Velcro strap for your antenna, just wrap it around. And then you got Hank here. We're gonna bring him inside, wipe his bumper down too, so he looks all shiny and new. And those are two of the elements that go inside. Now this year, what's new is I have an outlet out front here. So everything that is powered is now running outside. And if we're running everything, if you have an outlet outside, which 9 times out of 10, if you have a robot mower, you've got an outlet outside that's powering everything, you're going to take your robot mower and pull its plug. And the reason you want to do that is, again, liquid and electricity don't mix super well. And these are engineered so that they don't get liquid in them when they are clasped together in the summer. So it works well for everything to clip together. Those orange, hey Tom, those little orange grommets there, those actually work well for waterproofing. You see that in cell phones too. So then what I'm gonna do, this is a little bit of an extra long power cable. So I'm gonna shove that end just inside here, so it's protected from the elements as much as we can. And that's it. We'll leave the base station right there. So that's it, guys. I'm leaving my pole in position. That way when I take it out next year, all I have to do is put the GPS antenna exactly back where it was. There's not going to be any repositioning of anything. It's simply going to be a process of bringing Hank out, putting the key back in him, putting him back on his base, putting the GPS antenna back up, and plugging things back in. And that's all there is to it. It's really not a complicated process. The base isn't going to get damaged if you leave it outside. You know, like plastic, anything, it might be a little susceptible to some of the elements where it can crack over time and things like that with the sun. But that's anything that's outside that's plastic, in all honesty. So this thing was built to be outside year round, at least the base was, but the robot definitely not. Want to keep our batteries in good shape, and that's just how we're going to do it. So we'll turn off the hose here and we'll take Hank inside. But that's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching. If you like this content and you want to know more about Hank and the things that Hank does well, and maybe the things that Hank doesn't do well, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more coming.